Hello there and welcome back to another video on the Virtual Airline Pilot Channel. So if you tuned in earlier for the live stream, you're probably thinking, why am I here again? So, sat back at Skiathos airport in Greece, and the reason for this is that after doing the flight earlier, which was a takeoff from here, Skiathos, to Samos, which is about a half-hour flight away, I thought to myself how much runway there was left, and looking at the performance figures, there wasn't really too much margin for error had the aircraft had to stop following an engine failure or something like that at V1. So I thought I'd just fire the sim back up and just give it a go really and make a video, because I think it would be quite interesting to see what happens. So let's just step outside. If you didn't see the video earlier, then I took off on runway 02, which is this runway here, flaps 25 takeoff, and then hurtled down the runway and lifted off about here, so not a great deal of stopping distance. Now I calculated the takeoff using a tool called TopCat. If you're into flight sim, perhaps you already use PFPX for your flights, for your flight planning. TopCat is a takeoff and performance calculator. Okay, so in the real world, pilots carry a performance laptop or an iPad in the flight deck, and they're able to calculate takeoff speeds based on the weight of the aircraft and the conditions outside, so the wind speed, direction, temperature. And as you'll see, it's 29 degrees Celsius outside, which is very warm, and that does have an effect on the performance of the aircraft. Also, due to the length of the runway, we need to get good lift quickly, and the flaps there are set to 25, so you're probably used to seeing, flaps 1, or if you're flying out of an international airport, maybe flaps 5 for better performance, but flaps 25 is the highest configuration in this aircraft, I believe. So what we're going to do, quickly jump over to PFPX and TopCat, just show you some figures, and then we're going to give it a go. Okay, so on the left is PFPX, and that's our flight plan. You can see we've got a zero fuel weight there of 59.8. Now, this is TopCat on the right. Now, what I had to do is if I put 59.8 in, and then we go to takeoff, to download the latest weather, and go compute. Takeoff weight exceeds performance limit weight. So what that's saying is, based on the weight of the aircraft, we can't take off. We don't have enough runway. It's not safe. You can see there, there's a margin of 0 meters, and the performance limit weight is 63039, and we're over that by just over 700 kilos. Okay, so in the real world, you could offload bags, you could offload catering. All depends on where you're flying. You probably wouldn't offload passengers because they wouldn't be too happy. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't help as well that the wind speed, there is no wind. So if there was a headwind, that would give us a little bit more performance, gives us a bit more lift off the runway. So one thing you can do is go air conditioning off, compute that. You see that's bought us a little bit more in terms of performance, but it's not enough. So what I've done is I've already set this in the sim, but I've taken a ton off of the zero fuel weight. So if we go to takeoff now, just turn the air conditioning back on. Okay, so based on a standard takeoff, flaps 25, with those V speeds, we have a margin of 14 meters if we need to stop the aircraft at V1. So it's not great. So let's try air conditioning off. You see there we've basically doubled the margin Okay, so what I think we should do, it's saying that we can do a derated takeoff, but I don't think that's probably a good idea, and I don't think it's actually done. But let's do, yeah, air conditioning off. So V1, VR, V2, all of 137. And we should have 33 meters remaining in the event of a engine failure. So let's go back to the flight deck. Now everything's set up, so that zero fuel weight's plumbed in and those V speeds. So I think let's just get taxiing out. And we can talk some more on the way. So not flying on ATC, so the approach is clear. Now I've already set in the FMC
Approaching 02
to do an engine failure at V1.
on runway 1,800 feet remaining.
So let's taxi out then. The scenery I'm using is from 29 Palms. Really cool scenery, really immersive. You know, lots of boats and cars and coaches, and the terminal building looks awesome as well. Nice. Some birds. Perhaps we could blame the engine failure on the cruise. Had a wheel well fire warning just out of the blue, and it really caught me off guard. Like, I was just kind of staring at the fire warn light up in front, and yeah, I was like, okay, what do I do? So I managed to, well, turn the alarm off to start with, but I grabbed the QRH, the Quick Reference Handbook, and just started going through a few things, and
Approaching 02
managed to sort it out. But it was like, okay, yeah, I need to learn some more
on
stuff.
runway 02 5,100 feet remaining.
So you know it's a short runway when RAS tells you that when you line up, that it's telling you you've only got so much meters left. So let's set the parking brake. Just do a quick pre-flight brief. So we're going to accelerate down the runway 80 knots, and we're expecting a V1 cut of the engine, and then I'm going to try and bring it to a stop. So it's a PAX off takeoff. Turn those off. So we've just got that extra bit of performance. And let's see how much we've got left. Just checking top cap, we should have 33 meters left, so not a great deal. Let's park and brake off, going to hold it on the brakes. Let's stabilise 40%. And that's 40, and set takeoff power.
Caution, short runway, short runway.
It is indeed. Okay, accelerating nicely now, 80 knots. Hold the throttle. Hugging the centre line. And there's the engine failure. Close the throttles. RTO's engaged. Full reverse.
100 feet remaining.
And there we go. So let's have a look outside. Put the parking brake on. Well, if we come out a bit, I mean that's probably not far off 33 metres. Any more and we would have been taking an early dip in the water, I think. So yeah, that does kind of show the importance of calculating performance for these sorts of airports. Let's tell you what, let's clear the failure. And then let's give it another go. I'm curious to see what happens. So failures. See if we can restart this engine. Yeah, that's starting up. Excellent. The fuel's already in, so I didn't go through any sort of checklist at all. There we go. I'm just doing a cross bleed start at the moment. I just realised the APU isn't on. So what we're doing, we're providing air for engine number 2. And there you go. I guess this could even be the aviation version of a jump start. Yeah, there we go, that's a good start. Okay. Let's keep those packs off, spin the aircraft round, and we'll go back. In fact, just thinking about it, there's no wind today, so the runway's the same length, so let's just do a takeoff from this side.
Approaching 20.
So let's just line it up again.
On runway 20. 5,100 feet remaining.
There we go, so let's put the parking brake on. Reset the RTO, RTO auto brake. Okay, so let's just need to do a couple of things in the FMC. So So like I said, there's no wind, so in theory we should be exactly the same in terms of performance from this position. Now what we're going to do is turn the air conditioning on. Okay, now this should have a performance hit for the aircraft. So if we go back to Top Cat quickly, so if we go, okay, so it's now saying 14 meters margin. So just going to reset the flight directors. Okay, so we're going straight ahead. Let's quickly reset the failure as well. Arm that. There we go. Okay, so we're going to accelerate straight ahead, and then around V1 we're going to get a engine failure, and we're going to try and bring the aircraft to a stop. The air conditioning's on this time, so the last one we did, the air conditioning was off, but we should expect a performance hit in terms of being able to stop the aircraft. Alright, so let's just hold on the parking brake for now. And now the foot brakes, 40% M1, just wait for those to stabilise. There's 40, and set takeoff power.
Caution, short runway, short runway.
Okay, so accelerate again. That's 80 knots. And there we go.
21,000
Close the throttles, full reverse, RTO,
100 feet remaining.
and speed brakes out. Ooh.
On taxiway, on taxiway.
Well, you don't need to be an expert to see that that did have a performance hit, so wow. I think if you were in that car, you'd be crapping yourself seeing a fully laden 737-800 coming straight towards you. But yeah, the performance hit was probably the same length as the aircraft, I'd say, and a bit more. I mean, we stopped safely, but that was very, very close. So it does show you how accurate Top Cat is for calculating performance. Okay. Well, I think I've proven a point there. We can try and turn it round, limp it back to the terminal.
Approaching 02.
So yeah, if you want to
On runway.
take a look at this, it's
02.
Top Cat. I'll put a link in the description once I've recorded this video.
100 feet remaining.
And it's a performance tool that allows you to calculate for things like that, because I guess if you're used to flying the PMDG 737 a lot, you might be flying out of big airports where they've got massive long runways, and this runway is not big at all. It's 1.6 kilometers, so there's not much margin for error, and calculating performance is crucial, because if you just go by what the FMC says and set flaps 1 or flaps 5, you are going to run out of runway very, very quickly. So let's taxi it in. Let the passengers off. I think they probably had enough now. Looking at that engine, we could be looking at an engine failure if I don't. Sorry, an engine fire if I don't sort it out. Let's take the fuel out. Pull the fire handle. You know what? I think we'll just park it there for now. So yeah, that was a V1 cut of the engine in the PMDG 737 NGX at Skiathos Airport on an incredibly short runway. Hope you liked that video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and leave me a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe too. See you next time for another video on the Virtual Airline Pilot Channel. See ya!